Oh, I love it when I have to open my big fat mouth and say a whole bunch of things about how something sucks, and then, somebody happens to watch a video and now everything is reasonably better. Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Manufactio Nuclear Edition. Last episode, we had a discussion about that, and then we started working about doing a couple of other reprocessing things over here so that we could make things work, and we started making one of the crystals up on top up there that we're going to have to worry about eventually for later on production when we want to talk about replacing all of this stuff. I have made a decision, and I think the decision is we're going to give it a try. However, we're not going to build it here. We're going to go take a test world, and we're just going to go lay out a couple of we're going to go lay out some ideas, and my interest is going to be a big problem with how we're going to get from refined storage to logistics. Just given the way that I have segregated the network out and the way the systems work here, it's lots of multiple logistics pipes networks. Lots of little ones and one really, really, really big one. And this really, really big one is the one I'm interested in changing out right off the bat. So let's talk about the nuclear reactor kind of stuff so that we can kind of go forward and why we're going to probably be more enjoyative of it now, given how things are going to be going forward. My biggest issue last time was the fact that a uranium fuel cell, regardless of how you made them, how you got these things, this many uranium fuel cells on that running system over there, I forget the exact number, but it was like 5 seconds each. 5 seconds each for the uranium fuel cells on the molten lead recipe. That has now been changed to 1,000 ticks per uranium fuel cell, which means every uranium fuel cell on that level will last just under a minute, which means you should get just under 15 minutes of runtime or 14 minutes or whatever it is. The math is not horribly terrible to do, just, the 1,000 ticks. I love how Minecraft is, I hate to say it, I've played way too many factory-based games that do their math in seconds and minutes, and here you have to do a conversion from ticks to seconds in order to be able to understand it. So for those of you that don't know, you take the number of ticks, you divide it by 20, and that's how many seconds it takes to run. So this is theoretically 50 seconds, I think, if I remember correctly. I did the math just a bit ago. So 1,000 divided by 50 is, well, back up, dummy. Back up. 1,000 divided by 20 is 50 seconds, which means, again, 50 times 15 is going to be 750 seconds. Divide that number by 60. That will be 12 and a half minutes. That alone will make me want to run this a little more. That's still really, really, really scary, considering that's not really all that great. But then you come down here to this number here, which is now 4,000 ticks per uranium fuel cell, which is 3 minutes. So again, at that point, 3 times 15, you get 45 minutes of runtime on this. This number is still not amazing, but we're talking about something we can actually kind of use now. This new part here is very interesting to me in the fact that Golrith was kind enough to give us another method for using a nuclear reactor. A lot of people really don't know about how some nuclear reactors work or nuclear reactors run, and I'm not exactly an expert on it either, but I do know that there are things called breeder reactors. Breeder reactors run a specific type of fuel so that they can get rid of the fuel but use the waste products to be able to convert into a more nutritious, I guess is a funny kind of word to use, fuel for a later on reactor that can then take that fuel and convert it into more energy. And some reactors, especially some nuclear reactors, we actually as a human race, use them to produce resources for us if you run them really dirty. It's just the way things work. And so that's what this little section is here right there. We're going to get 20,000 RF a tick for 250 ticks, or 250 divided by 20, which my brain's not right. That's 1.25 seconds. of runtime, so that you'll blow through this. You're going to get a 50% chance of neptunium-237, a 5% chance of neptunium-237, and a 1% chance of plutonium-239, which I think is actually better than this. Now, it's a 1% chance up here, but this is a really, 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 really long time. So if you take the math on this one, this is like 1.5, 1.25 seconds times 1% per every one of these, understanding the fact that this will utterly chew through every little bit of nuclear, or I should say uranium you own, your chances are generally going to be faster to get this kind of stuff for those, well, the plutonium-239, so that if you want to make a bunch of UHV energy jocks, it's an amazing way of doing things. Thank you very much for listening. I know I kind of probably got a little bit offhanded on that, and it's just the way that I am at times, especially when I'm sitting there trying to figure out where in the hell 5,000 uranium ore went. At least that much. I'm pretty sure it was not that much nearly, but if you run it directly, and it was math I did later on, if you ran it directly, you could use about 5,000 uranium ore in 22 minutes. So yeah, that was the ugly part. So we're going to come over here. We're not going to do anything. I'm going to leave it off for right now because I don't really need to be burning through it. Running this ate up every little bit of stuff that we had, and well, I don't really want to kind of fool with it. One thing that I did do is I replaced all of the grass out here, well, all of this stuff with grass again. Or I should say, I put dirt in and let the grass come back in, because we finally got some wasteland earth. But the interesting thing was this wasteland earth right here was not in this stuff. So I don't know how it's formed. I know that it is formed based on the fact that there's a reasonable amount of radiation existing in a chunk, and this radiation's pretty nasty as far as things go. It's not pretty nasty. It's okay. I can make it a lot worse. We're going to make it a lot worse just to try to figure things out. This doesn't necessarily produce any radiation, I guess, as it's running, which would actually kind of be an interesting thing to try. But again, if I turn this on now, this is going to logically use a whole heck of a lot less stuff. Problem is right now we're not using enough power in the factory to be running it, so I'm just basically wasting the energy. So we'll just shut it off and we'll let it do what it needs to do, and it will be just perfectly fine. And that's going to stack a couple of more of those in there, but that's okay. Yes, this is interesting stuff. I would like to get a couple of more pieces. We're starting to see a few more of them. I'm going to have to bring some more junk over here. But for whatever reason, it was not being produced in the stuff that I exchanged down, the dead grass that I exchanged down everywhere. So we'll see what happens now. All of this grass, every little bit of this grass is, for the most part, was dirt that I exchanged in and then let come back to the regular grass. Grass basically grew over it. All right. With all that being said, once again, not much else has changed. I've not done a thing. I was going to go over there and get that drill set up on that uranium map. That's not a map button. I got to quit playing other games other than Minecraft. It's terrible, terrible bad habit. Again, there is a uranium 16 or 17 or whatever connected uranium tech guns ores in underneath that little platform right here. And we're going to eventually, well, I'll probably go over there. I said I was going to do it last time. I haven't had a chance. We'll go ahead and hook that up to a Tech Guns drill, which should bring us in a reasonable amount of uranium. Given the point, I forget how much was on, I think it was the coal. Coal's a kind of a lower end deal. We could probably use this one. This makes, let me see, I forget. It is just the ones that are right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and this produces a reasonable amount. This is good enough, plus what I'm doing with the, ooh. Yeah. Okay. Do you just dig this stuff, or do I have to, you know what, do this? Okay. Cool. Thank you. Maybe I shouldn't be digging all of the stuff up in here. Anyhow, this, like I said, this one does reasonably well as far as things go. And since we have all of that free oil and free everything else, I went ahead and pumped a bunch of just gasoline into both of these two guys so that we can keep our plastic production kind of running. Or actually, not the plastic. It's some one of the other chemicals that are coming out of that system up there is being produced because we're running this. So it's working. It's fine. I know. I hate to say it. We have these. We have these. I wouldn't mind some of these, Golrith. Really, I wouldn't mind it at all. I think it'd be great. Just so that I can kind of pump gasoline and whatnot into stuff around all over the place. But hey, no big deal. We can deal with it. I'm just, again, concerned about these things. So now I'm carrying 300 nanораds of nasty in my hand. Let's go over here, put these, wow, I forgot I did all this. No, we're not going to do that. Where's the thing? Let's go eat and go upstairs. Okay, cool. And you go in. The use on this stuff, we're going to maybe mess with this. You can wash it into radioactive water so that you can get radioactive waste so that you can change that into there. You make the mutagenic soil out of it, which is going to be probably, excuse me 1 second. You're going to be able to make the mutagenic soil out of this. The mutagenic soil is an interesting thing that was introduced in the release update over here for genetic manipulation. It requires, basically what you can do is you can grow various interesting mutated forms of sugarcane, and you need mutagenic soil in order to be able to run these mutated sugar canes that you can then, harvest for materials. Had that been put in place a long time ago, we might have gone that direction. We'll play with them a little bit, but for right now, I think it's going to be, again, another one of those little things that I wished I would have had many, many, many moons ago. Anyhow, we'll put you guys in there. Snap that into there, please. That chest is pretty ugly, and it's fine. It can stay here, but again, everything sitting right here is pretty ugly, and I think we'll go ahead and just make sure you guys have... These are not the best ones. Where's the best ones? Did I not get the best ones? Hey, you're supposed to be carrying the best ones. We forgot to do that last time. Shield. Give me that. Ouch. I did it again. There. Give me all of them. And then we'll let the system just kind of go absolutely crazy. But that's fine. All right, cool. That's 64 of those. And doink, doink. And I think that's all that I care about over here, except for maybe one that's like that. Doesn't really matter. These will get recycled because these require these to craft. So that is perfectly fine. All right. Now, with all that being said, we're kind of at an impasse right now with what we need to do. We're going to let the factory build a whole bunch of those and kind of do some things. But let's kind of talk about the idea of what we have to do. If we want to go to refined storage, which is going to be the next logical way of making this system work a little faster. And by I mean a little, I mean instant transfer from one end of the base to the other. That is my goal, is to think about trying to replace this line right now. This line is, well, it's this section is the bottleneck. As far as everything working in this network, this section right here is the bottleneck for the network. It's because we have to carry things from, well, this is the only problem about, this kind of an idea here, period. Granted, it's not necessarily so much of a bottleneck as it is the fact that we're keeping small amounts of storage on here. In Factorio, you have belts that will contain an inventory of things and move at a specific amount of time. And then you eventually get to the point where you can start doing, some amount of screwing around with logistics robots and bringing things, but you're still kind of bringing a storage of stuff to a point. And the goal is to try to keep the storages in certain areas full. So those storages are either going to be the belts that you're using or the machines that the belts are feeding things into. In here, the lag point comes when I have to drag something from clear the heck down there to clear the heck down there. And there isn't a whole lot of that. I think the only real example of that is going to be like that one right there. These crystal seeds, they come from, like, I don't even know if we can see it from here given the distance, but they come from clear the heck down there where my crosshair is. That's, well, every one of these is a chunk. Like, I don't even know, 7 or 8 chunks at this point. And then you start talking about some of these things, like, say, so this plastic sheet chest here, those plastic sheets get used clear all up in that building and all over the place. So trying to make this, well, some of this work a little bit faster. Redstone, well, redstone's right there. It's not like it's that far, but it's still, it's a set transfer rate at which things run through these pipes. And it's, it's worked fine. And I think you could honestly, we could easily just run this pack clear to the end of it using Logi Pipes. I have been told that some of my concerns and worries about using Logi Pipe or using refined storage clear to the end game, and the reasoning why I was after some of those nuclear reactors has been changed. So I'm now kind of thinking about it, given that really in reality we have, well, this chapter, this mess here, which we could just do whenever, that one, and some of this stuff in here. This is little bitty stuff here, and for whatever reason, I have a laser. Oh yeah, I never collected that. Why did I not collect that? I thought I picked that up. There's a couple of more things down here again. They're sitting on bedrock. I really don't want to pin it. God dang it. I hate that button. They need to move it. There's a few more little things here and there that we're going to have available to us. For the most part, we're done. I mean, for the most part. So that leaves us with all of this goofiness in here. We've already done a lot of this. I mean, there needs to be a number to show how many times I've actually already handed all this stuff in, because I've already handed every single one of those in. I need to make one of these. I need to go find the parts to pieces to make this. I've turned this one in I don't know how many times, and theoretically what I could do is just start burning nuclear material on that and just absolutely wiping that one out every single time. 100,000, 100 million FE a tick at 10,000 FE a tick doesn't take all that long. I finally killed a feral ghoul. Did it say I killed? Yeah, 5%. I killed one. Feral ghouls spawn on the Wasteland Earth, which is another reason why I'm kind of interested in making a fair amount more of Wasteland Earth. We will deal with them. If we can get a bunch of it, what I'll probably do, like I was kind of figuring, is we're going to build a mob farm somewhere down here and use turrets and whatnot to kill them. They didn't have anything massive in it. It was kind of one of those deals. I was going to say I was going to build a mob farm down here. We have no reason, because there's nothing in the mobs that we need. And I've got more levels than I know what to do with, because I keep breaking all of the redstone and the diamonds that we get up in pieces like that. So that's where all that's coming from. I think what I want to do, given the rest of this episode, we're not going to play here. I mean, I've kind of just been running things and trying to get a few things done. I did start screwing with the loot crates that we have available to us. They come in one of these small unknown objects. They're kind of cool. We can look at that really, 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 really quickly. I had stacks and stacks of those things. I need a chest to put my stuff away in, and oh yeah, we finally got one of these. So good, wonderful. Boink. I'm happy. That came out of a loot crate, so I guess that's totally worth playing with at this point. Let's see. Click, 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 click. Go away. We'll just do another one of these real quickly. I need a big chest because they end up with a lot of stuff. Take a stack of them and you go boink. And it shows you some of the products that you're going to get. We got a distillation tower package at that one. We got some lamps, got some hardened steel glass. We got an ore mixer package, an ore scanner. Hey, looky there. Cool. Let's put all of this away. And we can kind of see what you get. Some of this stuff is interesting. Again, we were playing around with this. I know I showed this a while back. A loot crate has a loot table of many things that you can get coming through various areas, and it's some of the neat stuff that can happen. Like you can end up with military stuff. You can end up with gemstones. We can actually order these so that we can complete that challenge. Plus, you can get some other things here. So in this one, we got a music disc. The Wanderer? Oh, interest. Oh, no kidding. That is like my favorite Fallout one, period. When that one comes on, when it's in Fallout game, that one is like one of my favorite, period. So, like, there's some other things we got the last time. Some induction furnaces. I got a package or 2 or 3, some more sulfuric acid. There's some other things that you'll get. Any packages in here, that's where they came from, along with those batteries. I will take your circuits. I will take your lamps. I will take your sulfuric wastewater barrels, because we'll do something with those eventually. I'll take your purple science or scanner. That should be something we can use. Would have been nice to get a long time ago. Gas well package, more science, and of course all of those. Those can go. I don't want your hardened glass. Everything else in there, aside from that, excuse me, everything else in here for the most part, that's the first one of those I've gotten. Hi. Wow. Neat. We'll go ahead and put all of this in here. for now, because that's a good place for it. Science can go in there. I think this, all I got to do is just... Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we can find whatever we want. It'll show other areas, you know, so when you're wandering around the world, you can kind of scan the area and it'll get you a nice little picture of stuff. That is actually very, 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 very handy. Put that in here for now. I'm going to put all these over here and a boink, 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 because that's where all of that stuff goes. As far as everything else goes with us in this playthrough, there's a lot of nice building blocks. There's a lot of really cool stuff in here. All of this is going to go in the trash. Except for that. Is that diamonds? Oh, hey, except for that. So, yeah, bloop, 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 bloop. Unless there's a recycling thingy for this, I'm unfortunate trash. That's a block of diamonds. I will take those. You go up there and trash, trash. That's some glowstone. I guess we got a little bit of usable stuff out of that. Put you over here for now. And yeah, that one can go in here so that I don't use it or lose it, whatever. And then everything else go in trash. Because of how we're playing, there's no reason for me to keep any of that stuff. And I'm so glad I got this. It's... Can't you pick things up with this? I thought there was a way to pick things up. I'll have to play with it later. Hey, I don't want that. All right. We've rattled on enough. Let us go to a test world. Let us go play around with the idea of what I need to learn. And what I need to learn is whether or not we crash the game if Logi Pipes is connected to either an interface or a storage bus. Because otherwise, I'm going to have to come out with a way to work this section in and this section in. So let's go do that. Alrighty, welcome to my world of testing. This is where we've been kind of fooling around with stuff and learning various things and figuring out how stuff works. This is an old system that I kind of figured out initially back before I had stuff, and unfortunately there's everything around. But what's interesting about this is this is kind of how we had things designed and figured so that I could kind of learn what I needed to do. We were even trying to figure out whether or not it would have been a good idea to move to this type of item transfer, the item relays, and the lasers actually would have been another way of being able to do a little bit of an upgrade over some of this stuff. Whoop, I didn't want to do that. You come back here. I don't even remember what this is. That's uranium. You go over there. It's fine. Put it back where it was. You don't want to break things. Uranium, 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 uranium. Go in there. Good. That's uranium. Yes, and that should be what's in this. Correct? Nice. All right. We need to figure out how to take this system, say like one of these lines here, and segregate it out from everything else using refine storage. And I need to go over here and do this. Why is this not in cheat mode? True, done, thank you very much. What I'm interested in, and I guess what I need to do is I need to go find a flat spot, which apparently there's an awful lot of wasteland earth over here working just perfectly fine. Whatever. We need to figure out whether or not we can take a... I don't know if it's going to be an interface or a storage thing, and whether or not, like in applied energistics, you can do something kind of like that, and it will allow you to network things. So especially if you do it backwards, like if you do one of these with this, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily do it like that, but essentially what we're doing here is we're taking a storage bus or a storage, whatever this thing is, an external storage, and we're saying you can see everything. So if I have a drive over here, we'll just grab a drive and we'll put a drive and we'll get some cable. Cable. We'll grab some cable and we say we put a drive over here. Click, click, click. What that's going to do is, let me see, set up something very quickly. Hang on 1 second. Okay. So looking at this the way that I was thinking about looking at this, what this thing's doing for whatever reason is it's cycling things because I haven't told it what it needs to do. So I was just kind of sitting here going, what is it doing? I threw a bunch of stuff in it and it was away it goes. In applied energistics, you can kind of interface between two networks using an interface and a external storage or a storage bus in the same, like I said, it's the same way that we had it before. So if I do this and then I do a gap, so we'll put this here, I'm going to move this one over to there, and I need one of these. You go on that. Then what we can do is, again, you can kind of, I don't want that, I want this. You can do this. The problem with refined storage is that it, given that connection, I understand we can make it more logical like this. In applied energistics, this separates this network from that network. This separates this network from that network. If I do this, I think, well, we'll find out. It's really easy. If you want to know whether or not you've got a problem, you do this. Yeah. So theoretically, it's passing the network through this interface into here, even though it's touching that. So refined storage is not like applied energistics that it won't pass those kinds of things. So that is a problem for us, kind of. What I'm worried about at this point is that, like I said, given that kind of an idea, I can offer a storage up. So this external storage basically is going to say that if I have at logistics pipes, supplier pipe. No, I don't want a supplier pipe. I want a provider pipe. Request, provider, one of those. Are you going to talk to that? No. You're going to talk to that. You'll talk to this. So, oh, that was my concern. That was my concern. Because what we need to do with that mall building is we need to be able to break it up into as many networks as we can, which means I'm going to have to build a stack of stuff there, meaning a stack of storages, any kind of storages, chest, whatever, just give me a chest. We'll have to do something like this. And then whatever I want to provide back to the network. I don't know if this is going to work. Because, like, essentially what we have as far as everything is concerned, you have something that looks like this with providers, and then something that looks like this. You're flying. That looks kind of like this on the other side as well. So this is the output, this is the input. And in order to be able to interface the refined storage system, this is going to be relatively simple because in reality, all I'm going to use at this point is an export bus, an exporter on the input section. So boop, 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 boop. And then either a storage bus or an importer. Right here. There will be no storage at all in the refined storage system. There will be none. So we'll have something kind of like this. Give me some cabling. There you go. Down to there. And that should be that. That should goes to here. So like if I want to, what I can do is instead of doing these, let's get us some single spot chests real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Single spot chests. Those go down. And then what we'll have is we'll have an importer here on an exported system. So like saying this is the finished product line coming in from that system. So say like I've got a bunch of storages or a bunch of machines or whatever, and this is the end of a line. So we've got a line of stuff coming in. This is where it deposits the stuff. So if I say circuits, for giggles, we'll just grab a stack of regular circuits and a few other things here. And this is going to be the other problem that's going to suck about this system is that we're going to have to limit the amount of stuff that we're going to be moving from one thing to another. So in theory, I should see Oh, right. Where is it? Use damage mode. Whitelist. 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 And that should show up. Hello. Why are you not working? Oh, that's an importer. I'm an idiot. I won't see it. Basically, let me take a step back. I have to remember how my brain is going to say this is going to work. These are not storage buses, these are importers. Essentially what I want to do is I want to create the exact same thing from one side of this to the other. With applied energistics, I can do this. I don't need an intermediate storage. I just need to have an importer and a destination. So in here, this one says it's seeing circuit 2. So if I say circuit 2 and put that in here, that is the mode whitelist. That's the only thing you're going to be able to push. So if I say over here again, type items, use damage, whatever, if I put that in there, you should put it in there. But an empty blacklist? That's what I was scared of. That's exactly what I was afraid of. Blacklist, use damage, no. NBT, no. Items, yes. Redstone signal, ignore. 64 circuits, no. And no. All right, that's what I was afraid of. That's absolutely what I was afraid of. Because if I grab a storage bus or storage thingy, whatever, that thing, now I'm changing this into a storage. That's an importer. That's a storage. Now it's moving it. Okay, so that means I can't use importers here, which means we'll actually see stuff. Okay, that's something that's important. That means it's not going to be cheap, is what I'm kind of saying, because an external storage recipe on this, actually, it's not that cheap, bad at all. I forget. These are all right. That's all it is. It's just a blue circuit. Ow. Every one of those. Every one of those. So, for those of you that are trying to figure out what the heck we're doing, what's going to happen is on all of the output chests that we have will be doing an external storage. So again, the line is that direction. And that looks like a person sitting on top of that rock over there. That's interesting. And then whatever we need to move elsewhere will be an exporter that is going to keep this fed. Now, if you noticed, it's slow by a lot. That's slower. God dang it. That chest right there. I want circuit. There. No, don't do that. It goes in here, into that. The interesting part about this is it's slower. Theoretically, moving it from here to there, it's slower all the way around than the other one. I'll show you. Excuse me, pig. I need to go right here. If I grab a storage, this, and a this, and let's see, unrouted, there, and a power junction, there, and a capacitor, which we have. Okay, cool. Give me this, and this, and this, and that. If I just connect these two and go that like this, and I place I think I can hook this up. If I do that, it's gonna. Well, whatever. We'll do something simple. Just this. Here, there, there. That should turn all of that on. So if I say I want to move a stack of one circuit, so just any old circuit, we'll just grab those and put them in here. I think these are 1 a second. One, well, maybe 2 a second. Yeah, they're about 2 a second. Here's the thing. If I stick those in here with a hammer, it's 10 at a time. Where did it go? Did I take it out accidentally? No, it's a whole stack at a time. Oh my. Go. Yeah, it's a whole stack at a time instead of. It takes it about 3 or 4 seconds to figure out what it needs to do, and then it moves an entire stack. So the only option, or I should say, so the only advantage at this point is the over distance thing. Do we get the? Did you give it to us? Probably not. Let me grab a couple of these real quick, just as example of distance. Where is the card? Network card, that one. Okay, just for an example of distance. I think it's this one that needs to, nope, this here. And then, what is this? Oh, Geiger counter, whatever. And then we'll go over here then. This is what I'm saying by distance, so we'll just put it on top of this. Receiver, and then I believe I click on you, and then run over here. Whoop, wrong button. And that goes in this. Yes, okay. 107 blocks. To the top of this, it is now green over here. So what I can do then, given the point, is I can put a, where is it? I need one of those. Nope, put it on top so we can see. So we have 120, whatever the heck it is, of those circuits in there. If I stick a chest down, don't care, these are not used anymore. This is the point where that becomes powerful. Circuit, 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 circuit. That one. That's where it becomes powerful. Because in the amount of time it would have taken to get that stuff from there to here, I hate to say it, it's a stack. It's still a stack in like 5 seconds. Granted, at the distance. It's going to take about 30 seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds to fill that crate. I don't know. I'll have to do some math on that. That's definitely going to be a sit down and do some serious math on that, guys. Because, well, the upgrade that we need to make that even faster is digital upgrades. It's just 200 production yellow research, which will allow us to have L37, which the use on you is going to be to produce the speed upgrades, of which we're needing energetic crystals for, and stack upgrades, which we will need resilient crystals for, which we are, that's some of the other stuff that I think we're going to need to make, right? Those are for those. So a stack upgrade would be needed for every single one of those interfaces in order to be able to make them move the same amount of stuff, period, over distance. And it would need to be, that's a math that I'm going to have to do on the other base, because I need to figure out how far I need to go from one end of the base to the other before this even becomes better. Interesting. Interesting. Fun times will be had. I guess I have a lot of math and a little bit of work to do. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I think this is me out. We're going to do a little bit more fooling around. I wanted to touch on this because this is something that probably we should have looked at into a long time ago, given the recent changes. I use that as a method of getting over there. Granted, we have the way of making these things a little bit easier now, considering the fact that, it's one resonating crystal, a little bit of sodium hydroxide, and some liquid plastic makes 8 cable. Or there was supposedly another way to make this. Is it this one that's changed? Yes. This is the pain point here because you need glinting crystals, titanium sponge. Glinting crystals are going to be a whole heck of a lot of silver, andescence, and diamonds. Okay, we're not done yet. That's an awful lot of stuff, even with this, for one of those, to get 2 of these to get 8 crystals for not instant transfer. Yeah, I'm going to sit down and do some math. I'm going to do a little bit more figuring and see whether it's even going to be remotely necessary at all, given the fact that we built the base the way we built the base. Just so you guys understand. I mean, it's going to be one of those things. Had I gotten into this before we had gotten into, everything else, had I gotten into this a long time ago, like just absolutely ran for it, even then, I think over distance of more than I'm gonna have to do the math again. I'm gonna have to sit down and legitimately do some math, figure out who can move faster over distance, and when that distance is won by this versus this that we care. Yeah, might still not at this point. Anyhow, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.